switched over to see if I could see the list you were talking about, and I was like, oh.
Okay,
oh.
I just jumped over. I switched the layout here, guys, temporarily. I apologize. I have to repeat all those announcements now because I realized I did not set up something properly. Excuse the old Jackbox layout.
Restart!
Okay. I am sorry. Hello and welcome to a second attempt here. I can't believe I did that. As you can tell, I just quickly threw together something today for layout wise, but yes.
We don't have a room code that's Pivy.
That was left over from last time. We're not actually playing Jackbox tonight. We are going to be talking in a roundtable format, one of the two new shows. These are not going to be replacing the normal live stream shows at all during the month, though we may do bonus episodes of these on those times where schedules and planning do not work out. So, in addition to the new talking around time and space, we are also going to be doing a community Jackbox show as well, also either on Monday or Friday once per month. That show will be we'll be playing Jackbox, but unlike our normal show, we'll have an open voice channel with limited slots on our Discord for some of the people in our community to try to jump in and be on the stream with us. This is a privilege, so if it's abuse it and say stuff like okay, yeah, if you abuse it, that will be rescinded. But anyways, so while I'm talking here, I probably should be copying some things over so I can actually. All right, Mike. Yeah, let's see. Oh man, I can't believe I did that. Yes, in case you're wondering why I was talking silently for there while the music was playing, I set up a layout for our new show here, and I forgot to when I copied the intro page where I did the initial setup, I forgot to copy over, important things like voices.
That's a wee bit. I like talking. I don't know about you guys, but
yeah, it's kind of hard to have a podcast if you can't talk.
Yes, I am aware of my error of my.
Oh, next thing you're gonna tell me it's hard to do a stream without like some sort of streaming website.
But yes, so I'm working right now on copying that stuff over.
Anyway, I think that was everything except for Layla's sick with con flu.
Yes, yeah, I'm a bit in con recovery. That's why we're not running today. In addition, Leah is also more con cruddy than I am, so she is just not going to be able to join us at all tonight. So,
Aww.
Anyways, as for the first time, but still always, I am your moderator for this roundtable discussion, and I am joined by my people who point out the errors of my ways.
Jane, it starts with you this time.
Oh, this time it's me. I see. Okay. I'm Jane, and I don't blame our GM.
I am Magical Trevor, and I point out all of the fellows.
I am Dustin, and I did not even notice that there was any problems, so...
So yes, today's discussion, I'm just not going to worry about getting the proper overlay for this session, because, if you had saw before, our discussion today is about origins. Figure for a first-time episode of this thing, it's best to kind of just start with a talk about how we got here to this point. These, the gaming of playing pretend, So just to start off with our first question here, what got you into role-playing? Whether it be rolling dice, or just typing on forums, or even live chat. So,
or getting bitten by a radioactive LARPer.
Yes, there's radioactive LARPers. Always a major issue.
Such a classic way of getting into it.
I wish. That just sounds like it would.
I'm done.
Dustin, why do you have to? I will say that was pretty funny, Dustin.
All right, quickest achievement for quickest derailment ever. Go, Dustin! High five.
Woo!
All right, well, that
We need to add sound effects for these roundtable things.
We'll see you next week.
But yeah, so anyone want to start us off with this? So
I guess I could.
okay.
Let's see. I actually started back when I was 14, and like my girlfriend at the time showed me Gaia Online, and like it was just for like the cute avatar stuff, but like I actually started to get into like the role playing forms. Like I was very cringy at the time.
Everyone is at the start.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I remember some of my early forum RPs, like god moding against a god moder. It was not pretty.
Yeah.
I
It's
think
just
for
one of
me,
those
I was
phases.
a little bit more controlled, but I'll wait on that.
It's just
Listen,
one of those
Dustin.
phases everyone has to kind of get through. Because, like, when
Yeah.
you first get into it, it's like you don't. There's just some things you don't understand.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, like from there, I had a small group of people that actually. Well, okay. First of all, I like started to actually get into like D&D when I think it was like a bunch of people from like that guy with the glasses at the time was doing it, like Spoonie, Lord Cass, Chris,
Oh
Loyalty
yeah,
Larios.
yeah.
They were playing 4E, and like that was really fun for me, and like I wanted to get into a 4E game, and like everyone I knew played 3rd edition or like 3.5, which if you
It's
don't
the
know the
superior
differences,
game.
that's a huge like jump.
Oh, that
And
is.
it's the superior game. You're missing that phrase in your.
So yeah, like
Okay.
I was going off second, like a lot of different knowledges, like so I thought like, hey, I can summon this bird and it can just do whatever. Go deliver messages for me. But like, what do you mean it only lasts for like a turn?
Oh,
So,
level
yeah.
one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no. I actually didn't know you wet your teeth with 4E, actually, in terms of.
Yeah, I mean, I still never got to properly play 4E. Like,
Yeah.
closest thing I got was 13th Age, but like
Oh, that's
that
a game
was
I want to play
years
so
later.
much.
Anyway, back to my first group, which was actually pretty horrible for me because it was a bunch of power gamers and as, like rule lawyers. And, like,
Ooh.
yeah, I'm like a role player and actor, so
Yeah. No.
You actually have fun with making characters to make characters, not
yeah,
just.
like my first character, like very first character, like basically she like got horribly killed and like her head was like decapitated and like put on a spike, and that was the point where I was like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore, like but like it was like my only group that would play with me, so I stuck with it and like eventually got better. And let's see, I did actually pretty well with my last character. He was a warlock, dark elf. Of course he was. 'Cause...
Of course, the most edgy of lore.
yeah.
No. Don't you know all Dark Elves are chaotic good rangers that dual wield scimitars and have a panther animal companion?
With lilac eyes.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds awesome. I don't know what you're referencing, but that actually does sound kind of
Dritz,
and
yeah.
Yeah.
drowse.
he's the like basically the face of like all the like, oh, I'm the misunderstood drow.
Yeah, the defector
I'm
of
the
decadence
misunderstood-
trope. It's like, and there was so many people, especially during the 3X era, did basically try to make carbon copies of Dritz because he was in all the fiction for it. So it was like he's basically one of the faces of Forgotten Realms.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I actually got like all those books actually, so
Yeah, like he's one of the biggest NPCs that you can fight in Baldur's Gate 1 and Baldur's Gate 2, for example. Like, that's how big it was. It was like you think you can take them on? Well, if you want to play an evil party, good luck.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, so, like, after that group, I, like, eventually pulled it, like, I don't know if the group broke up or, like, I just kind of pulled out, but, like,
Okay, there we go. That should
yeah,
give us
like,
our
after that,
audio
I went back to, like, different forum role plays, and it wasn't until, like, 6 years ago that, like, I went back to playing, like, actual, like, I got into, like, a Pathfinder game, like, from a forum thing, and, like, that's where I've met my, like, one of my current GMs that I'm really good friends with, and, like, I was, my dad had a dentist appointment that I had to help him with, because he only had one leg, so, and he didn't tell me about that till the day of the game, so I was late, of course, but I still had a good time with that, and, like, the parts that I was there for, I, like, jumped on a scorpion's back and, like, stabbed it in the tail, critically succeeded, and killed it, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. And from that, even though I was, like, late, the GM really appreciated me and, like, invited me to more games, and then, yeah, I started playing more with him and his group, and I'm still playing with him and his group. Like, we're doing World of Darkness stuff right now, and he's doing a forum-based 5e game.
Which WOD game are you running right now?
We are running Changeland: The Lost, 2nd edition.
Okay, cool.
With, like, a little splash of vampire.
Yeah. No, Lost is probably one of my favorite of their things, because it's just such a cool setting.
Yeah. So I am playing a big bad wolf character.
That's awesome.
Oh, it's similar to a certain kingdom we were watching a few weeks.
Yes, I might have been getting inspiration from Wolf from 10th Kingdom.
Yes!
So cool. That's...
Yeah, and, like, from there, I started to look for more games on Roll20, and eventually got to David's Pony Finder game, and
yeah,
that was the start of how I got here.
Cool. And I just checked our output. We got the proper formatting now on our visuals, and audio is working. So
okay,
this will not happen again.
I said all that, and no one could hear me.
Oh yeah, no. I transitioned around the time we were talking about Dritz, and I figured that was a good point to test it.
Yeah, get the Dark Elf theme going.
That's really cool.
Excellent.
That's...
Trevor, you want to go next? Or
I don't care. Or I don't mind whatever the appropriate agreeable response is without sounding like I'm disinterested.
We could also have our GM give his.
Yeah, I didn't want to start off in the first one just because, you know, I didn't want to seem self-serving in that regard. You know, I worry about how I come off in that regard. But anyways.
No. I understand.
So see, my first brush with forum roleplay was actually back... Okay, so... Let's see, was that junior high, actually? Like, back in, like, early 2000s, I got hugely into webcomics, bunch of ones, and also at the same time is when I got really into the whole Kitsune kind of stuff, because I just... bunch of reasons there, but anyways, I think it was a webcomic Foxtails, what it was? I don't remember. It was like one of the first ones I actually became active in its community, and that was back on the old pro boards days. Stuff. I'm not gonna go into detail what happened on that one. I regret it. That's all I'm going to say. It's that was my cringe era. But actually, this will tell you my pedigree of nerddom here. One of my friends I made, who's still one of my close friends here, actually got me in my robotics team. Actually invited me over to play a tabletop RPG actually at a church. because that's actually where I started role playing. Was actually we had a mega church in the area, and they had a RPG group playing homebrew systems. I actually played entirely homebrew. Well, okay, homebrews derived off the D20 SRD, the modern stuff specifically. That was about. Okay, actually, no, it was about mostly it for any long-term game. I did play a little bit of Castles and Crusades. That so many jokes there, my friends, including the fact that, as it turns out, one of my friends is deathly allergic to griffins. If you ever hear me joke about Ronzi when that griffin is killing someone, that is who I'm talking about.
Okay.
And apparently, you only need to be able to control about 6 hit dice of undead to control a zombie hydra. Stuff like that. But that's Castles and Crusades, which I believe is a retro throwback to 2nd edition D&D.
Yeah, I think I played it. I don't think I was very into it.
Yeah, like I said, that was the first time I've ever played anything in the mold of D&D. I think I was a gnome wizard illusionist or something. That's that tells you the era where illusionist is its own class. But that was a few one-offs there. It wasn't until later on, I think Pathfinder was the first. Pathfinder or World of Darkness, I'm not sure which one of the one was the first big published one for me that I played. I want to say I think it was World of Darkness. I don't remember. Mage. Yeah, Mage. It was Mage. Mage was the first one I ever... first real, long-term published game I actually played. And even that was... We had attention issues in that group. So no game really lasted long in that separate group there. But yeah, Mage the Awakening, not the New Water Chronicles of Darkness, I guess it's called now.
Yeah.
I don't know, but then I played some Pathfinder and never really played D&D proper until really we did one test of 4th edition. Apparently, as it turns out, looking back at it, we just chose a really bad module to run. The only good thing is that we decided to name the wizard that was supposed to give us this quest as the Good Wizard Nixon.
Nixon.
But, and then...
Was he a crook?
We don't know. But, yeah, so I played around with that, and then, 5th edition hit, and, I was the one who first looked into that and, started looking at this stuff and, liked it a lot more than, what I saw in, Pathfinder and 4th edition stuff like that, and and that led to stuff snowballing for that.
That's actually kind of funny. I had the reverse reaction to 5e. Of course, coming off of my experiences, I'm man, you don't have a lot of choices with anything.
Oh, trust me, I time has had its toll on that. Initially it was refreshing because basically for me is I like a streamlined core with options. 5e, Pathfinder and such had the options, but they were almost to a detriment because there was just no way to really parse the information that you had. Whereas 5e, I could encapsulate it just entirely in my head, and therefore, I could know what I was doing. Sure, it was streamlined, but you're also looking at a person who's honestly one of their most favorite systems is Fate and Cypher and such. Very open, flexible systems.
Yeah. So
they can understand that, and over time, the lack of options and customization has worn on me. I am actually I've been running the playtest for the Pathfinder 2nd edition recently, and that has actually been. I've been really liking a lot of it, and it's it has my Meat Space Saturday night game. It's probably going to replace 5th edition for us. If it's anything as good as what if the final version's anything like we've had with the playtest. So So a bit of a tangent there, actually.
All good, no worries.
Yeah. And as for getting onto the internet and streaming, much earlier than Dustin did, it was actually technically part of the previous game. I had just, okay. I know this is going to be a shocker to people, but I am in fact a brony.
Oh, what?
I'm not sure.
Wait, we believed in you. How could you betray us?
All right. Theatrics aside, but as such, and I had finally caught up, and just in time to catch the 5th edition Kickstarter for Pony Finder, actually, on Equestria Daily. Which is great because I was, that was at peak 5th edition fandom there. Ponies, and like, sure, sign me up for this. So I backed it, and I was like, I was getting into that kind of, like, when you first get into something, you want to consume everything you can about it kind of point. So eventually I decided to look on Roll20 to see if there was any Pony Finder games, and lo and behold, the creator of the game was running a game on there, and I was like, oh, I could sign up for that, but I eventually did, and
I'm sorry to interrupt you here, but I when I joined David's game, I didn't know he was the creator at the time. So when I found that out, I was like,
yeah,
got a little shock there.
Yeah,
no, I get that.
I've never met anyone who writes anything or done anything like that. So it's like,
yeah.
Oh my god, I am going to look like such a noob here.
No,
I currently have a minor relationship with somebody who's decently part of a creative team, but I'll get to that when I get to my turn.
Yep.
Honestly, I enjoy quote-unquote noobs because they tend to pay the most attention to the game because they don't want to miss things.
Yeah.
They don't know the mechanics and stuff, but they are genuinely interested in the story and learning things, and honestly that helps the other players pay attention too, because they're trying to help keep the new player kept up, and that forces them to pay attention.
Yeah, no. That's really insightful and actually a relevant tangent to this whole thing about talking about Origins.
Well, I only just started GMing myself a few months ago. Well, actually, half a year ago at this point. But
yeah,
we had a person who joined who knew nothing about tabletop whatsoever, and he's been the one that remembers most of the story, reminds others of tidbits here and there, and it's, it was a reminder oh, yeah, that was true. Most of the other games I was in too. It's just one of those things that you don't really notice much. Because most people tend to focus on, oh, great, we have to remind them of the rules. We have to, this and that. It's like, yeah, but they're engaged. That's, in my opinion, one of the most important things about the game.
No, that's really cool there, actually. Something I hadn't really thought about myself, honestly.
I mean, if it's alright,
that is a very interesting viewpoint. I can agree with that.
To how I started.
Go right ahead. I was just
okay.
My stuff was more modern stuff. So if I say, long story short, I do writing for Pony Finder. I started streaming. There we go.
What? You're streaming?
Yes, I stream because I hate taking notes.
I'm not sure if this really counts or not, but technically my first experience with RPGs would technically be video games, especially games like Baldur's Gate, Icewind Dale, where you have missions and whether you're good or evil actually had an impact on the story and rewards and so forth.
I would say so if you can really attach to your character and such
But as far as actual what most people tend to think of as quote unquote role play, that started back in college, I want to say. My friend Wave had shown me this website called Poke Farm, which was, basically just you click something in order to give it experience. You can only do it once a day, and so you try to click other people so they'll click you back, sort of thing. Anyway, they had these forums, and so I kind of just explored them a bit, not really understanding a whole lot, but learning relatively quickly because I'd taken up creative writing before then, just to learn how to type. Because I didn't know how to type correctly back then.
I still don't know how to type correctly.
I took up creative writing just so I could learn how to type properly. Regardless, my first actual tabletop experience was when I was helping out with Scholastic Bowl, and the coach, who was also one of my friends, is like, "Hey, we're starting up this thing. It's called Dark Heresy. If you guys want to Rogue Trader Dark Heresy, yeah, that was like."
Oh boy,
we're just about to start a cult here.
No, because the reason why that system is because there was a tabletop club, or History Through Board Games is what it was technically called, because it's mostly like Axis and Allies, War at Sea, like naval strategic sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then that kind of transitioned into Warhammer 40K-ish, because they could argue, well, theoretical potential alternative, it was obvious, but no one cared. And so that just transitioned to that. It was literally a last-minute decision by me that morning, the morning of. Everyone else had already had ideas for characters and stuff. I was literally like, you know what, sure, I'm bored today, I'm gonna go. And so I went in, almost straight up just started the base of my character using a character from another story, because it was like, he said he doesn't mind, and since I'm going in with no prep, this at least gives me a direction to go. And from there we went into Pathfinder, and it just kind of snowballed from there as soon as I learned of Roll20. Once I learned about Roll20, I was like, shit, why did no one tell me about this years ago? I would have been all over it years ago if I had known, but it wasn't until someone mentioned it just casually at one of our things, I was like, wait, what now? Yeah, you can do this online? And that's pretty much everything. I'm trying to remember how I actually came across it. It might have actually been either post on Equestria Daily or... Oh, no. It was because of Midwest Brony Fest 14, I want to say. Or 2014, I mean. Because there had been the first version of the Fallout Equestria tabletop with the percentile dice and stuff. We had a group, and we tried, and it kind of collapsed pretty quickly due to the GM, but one of the other players actually stayed in close contact with me as we looked around for other games, and I stumbled across it one way or another, and that's how we were able to find Pony Finder, and the two of us are actually still really good friends and playing games together all the time.
Cool. That's like, it's... Yeah, I forgot completely how much Warhammer Fantasy, the second edition Warhammer Fantasy, and the entire Fantasy Flight Warhammer 40K stuff, with the exception of Death Watch, the Space Marine one. That one we did not. That one's the only one that we did that just we just went no. Mm-hmm. We tried it. It was the only one we had problems with, but yeah. No, I remember those. So many crit fails. The only having a 30% chance of success on most things is a very different system than most.
Yeah.
And that's if you're really
critical success when I had 4 degrees worth of penalties from other stuff I was failing. I rolled like an +2 and ended a combat before it began because I took out the leader in one shot.
Oh, those those critical wound tables are brutal. One of my GMs actually had a problem where they was just kind of stuck on had no creative thing on it at the time, so it just ended up being tons of limbs just flying off into the distance. Also, I think my character went insane in one of the games. I think it was fantasy because I'm pretty sure I took a Skaven's head and used it as a sock puppet called Mr. Bitey.
Yeah.
So
That's normal.
So
Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to
it's
get on a
fine.
specific tangent.
No.
It's awesome.
This is all about a bunch of people just talking, having fun, and just the questions are more prompts to get us talking than anything else. So Jane, you teased us about some information about your origin. So why don't you start talking about yours?
Well, I have. I'll say my role playing history is kind of similar to Trevor in a minimum of. Well, a lot of my role playing technically started with, say, well, not only like RPG games and stuff, but also from similar to most of the other examples here from online text forum. I think like my first one was like actually a Kingdom Hearts forum or something. And I remember I even remember like one of the forums that I originally did, like, because literally I had somewhere, I still have it printed out, like what happened in a Final Fantasy X based RP I did.
Okay.
So yeah, I've definitely had a little bit of history. I'm not gonna. I hope wasn't ever super terrible about that sort of stuff, but I can admit there's definitely always that issue. Hey, I don't think I was as cringy as others because I balanced it out by being almost as cringy as I am now. Well, I mean, I do my best to write stories, but I'm not going to say I'm the most creative, so all the time. But it's definitely a skill I've been learning as I've been going through stuff. It helps that, especially once I graduated high school and stuff, and for a while when I was in college, I was in a D&D club. Originally, I was in one D&D. The college group I was in ran they had a 4E person who that's where my first experience with really 4E comes. But like the big thing probably with my college was playing 3.5. And honestly, after playing 3.5, I can't ever say I like 4E that much. I've tried a little bit of a few other small things. Like there's this weird custom system I tried back at a anime convention one year is kind of what also promoted me to do this. Because they did a game of Bessem 2 years in a row where we played Bessem. I played as Beast Boy in a Teen Titans Bessem one shot, and I also played in I think a Kingdom Hearts one shot in another group during that con, and that was pretty fun. But I still have like the original like 3.5 box that's pretty much fallen apart, and I've lost most of the stuff in it. But that was my original introduction, but I really didn't have anyone to play with when I got it. So, yeah, I guess it kind of came back years later when I joined my college group. And originally, the college group was, as I said, there was one college group that was playing World of Darkness. So I did get to try joining in with that. I think Werewolf the Apocalypse was what I was in, but it was really hard to tell because, unfortunately, like my character literally survived a zombie apocalypse as a human. And right about as they were going to go in the story where, my character would finally get turned into a werewolf or whatever, it went on summer break.
Ooh.
And it kind of fell apart. So when I came back, luckily there was another GM who I liked for a while, and that's where we played 3.5 for some time. But like about half a year or so ago, it finally got to a point where, I decided that group wasn't the right group for me anymore because the GM, to be honest, was a little bit of a dick. So I kind of left that group and I'm just more chilling out with, hey, I like playing with people online. And I've also learned a little bit as part of this time frame on how to be a GM personally as well. There's a role-playing system called Unforgotten Realms, or now it's shortened to U Realms, which is a very simplified one. It's actually how I met Dustin, because I was GMing the original one of the first versions of the game with Dustin a while, and but I've been learning a little bit and kind of embellishing a bit on story. I've also been trying to occasionally GM my own 3.5 game / Pathfinder. I know they're close enough that a lot of that stuff can be rather easy to convert for the most part. I've had a little bit of experience with Pathfinder and stuff as well. And it's kind of at a point now where I'm trying to learn how to be a bit of my own GM so I can, maybe build a story that fits in general. But I also, am enjoying when I actually get to play as well. So,
tell me what it's like to still be able to play. I don't know.
Oh, you need to play sometime, Thomas. If you need, I will welcomely let you guys try, like, on one of these off weeks. If you guys want, I will totally host, give you a chance to test D-realms and stuff.
Yeah, no, like, one of the things I want to get doing eventually on the channel is I want to do, like, a flavor of the month thing where we try different little systems, not for long-running games, but, just because I have so many games I want to try.
Perfect for that. Realms is perfect from that. It's literally a system that thrives on being best as a one-shot, but there's no real levels or experience. You just tell a simple story with simple characters.
Were you trying to say something there, Trevor? Or Dustin, I guess.
Trevor. Yeah, I was gonna say I need to introduce you to my my GM friend who also loves Mage, the Ascensions.
Yeah.
Which, that was the one World of Darkness games that I can't really get into because I'm a very kind of mechanical person and it's oh, you can just do this bullshit and I'm just oh my god, where do I even start?
Oh, is Mage that type where you get really creative? I'll admit, my werewolf experience was kind of interesting. I had this weird nightmarish sequence before I effectively got turned. And of course, as I said, I somehow survived this zombie apocalypse as a normal human. Yeah, I'm not even physically fit, but somehow I was able, or super smart or anything. I just was well, run.
Just to tell you about my my mage character, quote unquote, he was just a samurai.
No. For me, it's always simplest for me in a role-playing game. Always play myself first before I try anything.
Yeah.
That is literally my biggest thing for all sorts of RPGs. Literally, the first character I always make is what I'm well, what can I learn about this world as if my character is me, literally, and thus is going to learn this world on that. So I can learn all the mechanics and all that sort of stuff.
So, yeah. So I guess this kind of brings me now to the second part of this thing, which I want to ask about, is not bringing someone else into the hobby, being someone else's origin. Just as to start off our prompt, just to kind of get us started talking about this. What kind of setting would you use for just a generic friend of yours to try to get them started, and what game system would you use to run it in?
I'm going to go first, just my answer is simple.
Okay.
Doesn't matter. In the end, it really doesn't matter, because, I don't want to say it like this, but they all have the same base idea. The only difference is what kind of rule set are you wanting to use, what do you think is easiest to get someone into it, and what setting do you want to use.
Yeah.
As far as ease of getting someone into it, it's hard to go wrong with something like 5e or even maybe something like Fate, where it's just you've got these few simple stats and that's everything.
Yeah, for piggybacking off that, I definitely would do Fate as my preferred infection vector, so to speak, because it helps marry because a lot of people are used to more thinking things in terms of story and the mechanics pretty well. Specifically, though, I would run Atomic Robo. The Fate version of that is super streamlined. You just pick two things and you give them a number, and then you maybe bump us something, or you just say, okay, I'm good at this, this, and this too. It is no mess, and it's very easy to get the ball rolling. And I have listened to some. It lends itself to a very over the top, pulpy hilariousness. It's very easy to get a hold of. And if someone's more, though I'll admit D&D definitely has the brand name recognition, and I would go for something a little crunchier if someone's more from the board gaming side. But games I wouldn't run, Nobilis. If any of you are familiar with that is out there. It is a beautiful game. It is amazingly well written. Like, it is just fun to read, but it is a bit head screwy, and like it is esoteric as things.
I think I've heard of that game. Yeah.
Yeah. I also have the PDF for another game by the designer I backed on Kickstarter called what did I call it? Chubo's Wish Granting Engine. I can't even comprehend that one yet. I probably should sit down and try rereading it, but it's just one of those. It's just like,
Again, I need to introduce you to my other GM. He wants to play Chubo and like get a group going with that. Like,
I'm not in any hurry to play that. Nobilis is cool because I like the high power games actually, like that are designed for high power, not like broken like D&D broken. Like, I love Exalted so much, but I will never run that for a newbie player ever.
Yeah.
All right, not to sound like a broken record, but honestly, if you find out about E-Realms, even from your experience, Dustin, would you agree? Is that a good new player experience type game you could easily just to learn? It's like, as I said, I don't think it's a system if you want to make a long-term campaign. It's not really the system for that, but if you're just trying to teach people the basics of role-playing and getting invested in a story and a character and whatever, it's a good place to start.
Yeah, I mean, like, a lot of the stats for that are very simple, and, like, everything's based on cards that you get, so, like, you don't have to make a sheet or worry about your, like, stats. Like, I think health is the only thing that you really need to... Health and mana are the only things you need to pay attention to, like...
No, literally, it's health. That, like, especially with the newest version of the system, like, there isn't a mana stat that's just, have you used this? They're kind of like on a, well, there's just general use, and then there's kind of limiteds, and there's passives, and that's basically all.
Yeah. Anyway.
So, alright, well, obviously we know what Jane's opinion is. What about you, Dustin?
For mine, I would have to say, I mean, it really depends on, like, the person, I feel like, also, like... Mm-hmm. I feel like if you know someone's going to be into X game and like, or like X type of story, like that's a big help. But if I had to, like, without any information, I would probably go with oh god, what's the Powered by the Apocalypse fantasy game called?
Dungeon World.
Yeah, Dungeon World. I think that one's probably a good one.
That's definitely been one of my kind of want to touch list because it definitely hits cornerstones. It's not a game for everyone. I have seen people have a horrible time with that game because it is, I guess, I don't know, because I know Trevor didn't care for masks. I don't know if that was genre or mechanics more, but
a mix of both, honestly.
Yeah.
Probably.
But I mean, like, just like here's your character sheet, basically. Like, it's pretty much already filled out. Like, you just need to
you bump up one stat. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I had complete. The only reason I didn't say something like that myself is because the only Powered by the Apocalypse game I've actually run is been Masks. I mean, I love running it. It is one of two systems that I have that I don't run because I'm the one who will run it. It's a system I run because I enjoy running it. Mm-hmm. The other one is Cypher, which, if it wasn't for the fact that the bending your brain around the attribute pools and Cypher system games like Numenera or The Strange, that is a little harder to grasp for most people. But other than that, I would probably use it for that because honestly, I really want to run a Cypher game for any setting because it is so. I just love it so much. So
yeah, I love the Cypher system too. Like, one of my best characters came from that.
And the also character creation so easy. You're a noun, you're an adjective, noun, who, verbs.
Yeah.
And you're just picking from lists, and then it kind of gives you an idea. And I love how each thing kind of gives you some RP prompts or character connection prompts to kind of get the ball rolling on the story.
Yeah, Cypher is probably one I would also say would. I mean, like, other than like the stuff you said, but like with character creation, yeah, Cypher is like the most like easy thing you can do for like, oh, this is how you actually make your character. It's just like these 3 things.
Yep. But yeah, and also it is effortless to run. I guess that's more than anything else. I actually once did a few one-shots in the system where... are you guys familiar with the animated cartoon of The Tick?
Yes.
Nope. No. I know one thing about it. Spoon!
Yes. So the cartoon, it was a 90s cartoon. It's something I didn't think about much as them. Looking back on it, it's so much fun. But I love the idea of this absurd superheroes things, like what crazy stuff, but it's all played deadpan straight. Mm-hmm. And so I decided to create an RPG where everyone was playing these things, a setting where in the city of town, where you are playing these absurd, just town. They named it when it was a town. They just decided, we don't need to name it, just call it town. Then the city grew. So it was the city of town. But the idea of these crazy, off-the-wall, wait, what? Like, one of the characters I think was called Jetpack Jerry. He was a guy who had a jetpack, and that was it. I know he was more of an Iron Man, but anyways. And so we had played these silly things, and off the wall, one of the villains they fought was the Mary Sue.
Hey, that's familiar.
Yeah, that's actually where the idea originally came from, was from that game.
Huh.
Hey, she was a tragically misunderstood character.
Uh-huh.
We need a Mary Sue redemption arc.
No, we don't. But yeah, but that was done in the Cypher.
I will apologize if I can't contribute too many amazing systems and stuff. I don't have a huge
no, I understand that.
Different things.
That's part of the reason why I'm running this specific topic when Leah can't make it, because we've seen most of her origin. Like, I mean, some of the stuff where I know she did some more of the RPing side of things, like, live chat and forum RPs beforehand, but other than, like, running some Digimon Fate games that I was running in Meat Space and some masks, you guys have seen her origin story. So, yeah,
All right, okay.
Yeah. So I guess okay, I'm trying to think of... I had a thought. It was in my brain. Now it is gone.
Of course.
The thought, not my brain. Oh, that's right. A bit of a tangent here on this. I think I know one set, because I backed the Worlds of Cypher Kickstarter, so I got a bunch of setting supplements for it.
Nice.
So, but there is one setting, specifically because, yes, my girlfriend would love me to run it on this stream, is Predation, where you are time travelers. You are descendants of time travelers who commuted from the far future into, like, the age of the dinosaurs, but eventually got stuck there because somehow time travel just broke. And so now you're like the second or third generation of people who have been growing up in this, and you have a genetically or technologically modified dinosaur companion who is played by another player.
Oh,
that sounds amazing.
That does! I love it! Can I have a Triceratops? Or be a Triceratops?
I don't think you can be a Triceratops. This is actually, humans and such, so this is science fiction, not fantasies.
Oh.
So, but you could definitely have a Triceratops. I mean, and there's they engineered some sort of a capacitor into a Stegosaurus to make a Teslasaur.
Teslasaur?
As in, like, the plates hold electrical charges and such, or they generate electrical charges. I'm not sure how it actually does. I'm familiar but it is such a fun thing, and of course, Leah loves her dinosaurs.
Yes, I also love dinosaurs. That was like ever since I was like
that was probably one of my OG things I loved.
Yeah. So Trevor, do you love dinosaurs?
Sure.
But
it sounds like this was a bigger dinosaur nerd than he.
Let him talk. Let him talk.
So, most of the extent of my knowledge about dinosaurs comes from Ross from Friends. So.
Interesting credentials there. It's like saying all you know about architecture is from How I Met Your Mother.
No, I honestly know more about architecture than that, but
yeah. So
we're gonna change this to the dinosaur podcast.
Dinosaur.
Well, technically, it's not a podcast.
The dinosaurs.
Did you know that dinosaurs are also are not reptiles, they're birds?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And technically, we're not a podcast; we're a live stream.
Oh yeah, I know, but we have a very podcast-y format right now, so
yeah. No, this is meant to be more of us. Like, if I could figure out a way to embed multiple video streams from the internet to have us just appearing on webcams or whatever, I would do that. But I do not. Number one,
so we could appear anywhere.
Yeah, number one, I don't currently know how to set that up without doing a lot of duct taping, and number two, I don't want to demand a violation of your guys's a relative
animosity.
No, your anonymousness.
Anonymous.
There are just some words I just cannot say.
I know. I am terrible at that word.
I mean, you know how bad I am at English, so.
What are you talking about? Me am greater at English.
I think it's just inanity. Or anonymity.
Something like that. But it's
anonymity, yeah.
So I have hard enough time saying your character's name in our Ashes game.
To be fair, I could theoretically still rename him because I was scrambling for names and forgot. Oh right, David's and others so handily include. Here's how they tend to be named. I'm just grabbing the first dragon name I had that actually is a name in Draconic.
Yeah. No, it's your character name is fine. Like that is just my own mental stuff, and I am getting better about at least saying the shortened version of it.
Mm-hmm.
Mind you, I may have to.
Now.
But
you don't have to. I'm just giving you a hard time.
I just go with the chocolate bar, Arrow.
But it's a Lero.
I know. I'm still gonna call him Arrow.
Wait, there's a chocolate bar called Arrow?
Yeah.
Well, okay.
It's
Remember, he is in a different country than with the rest of us, I assume.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Dustin isn't an American.
But, yes. So, for a final little prompt here to kind of wrap us up and have a little fun idea. What is your superhero origin story? Origin event? And no radioactive LARPers.
Oh.
Oh, but that was such a great one.
It was, but we can't repeat ourselves. We always looking forward.
I got sucked through a wormhole during an experiment.
Wait, are we talking like our actual mask characters, or just
this is just for fun, just a bit of improv kind of thing here.
All right,
just to act as a send off here.
My parents got killed by critical ones.
Oh, it's awful. I'm so sorry.
How does that give you superpowers?
It didn't. I'm the.
Well, obviously he's back. Yeah, he's just. Keep in mind, he's in like superhero origin. That doesn't always include superpowers.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm good.
Powers?
I'm good.
You're a good man, Charlie Brown. You're the kind of reminder we need.
Well, I have a very original story. See, it was a long time ago, far off in the distance of space. My planet was doomed to explode. So my parents, they took me up and they put me in a rocket ship. And were about to send me off. But then some jerk came up and punched him, stole the rocket ship. Luckily, it turned out it was entirely just a scheme they were using to get rid of this guy. They had told him the planet was exploding, so he So luckily, my parents just raised me up, and I came here on vacation.
That is beautiful. I give this question, and I'm just too busy laughing at everything to actually come up with the answer. Yeah.
How do you not know your own origin story?
It's a secret to everyone.
He forgot his origin. That's why he can't think of it.
It's a secret to everyone. Here, take it.
His memory must have been wiped out.
Yes, I came down with a case of explosive amnesia.
Explosive amnesia?
Is it like explosive diarrhea?
Yes, except for it's
that
not
sounds
poop.
awful.
It's your memories coming out, not the poop. But yeah,
That still sounds awful. Why?
But yeah, so my origin story is tonight. We have just launched this new super show. I overexcelling it. So yes, but thank you for joining us for this new first step into hopefully an entertaining and fun world for us. So like I say, we're going to try to shoot for one of these once a month. It'll probably fall on either we'll either stream it on Friday or Mondays. We'll work out the logistics over the next month. I am not making any guarantee over December, just due to the fact it's December and at least two people in our group work retail.
Oof.
Yeah.
Oh. Yay!
It's going to be that time of the year.
Yep.
Yeah.
So wear your bulletproof vest, people.
Yeah. I am not looking forward to Black Friday. Because I'm going to be working some point during that day, that 24, 36-hour period. I don't know when yet, which is fun. But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
I'm debating on doing my Christmas shopping now. So.
That's definitely the F word we're looking for. Is fun. Yep.
But yeah, so we'll be doing a community Jackbox event sometime this month, and I'm almost certain we'll do it again next month. Can't say anything for certain about Talk Around the Space and Time when we'll be doing another one of these. Hopefully, we'll try to do it in December, but if not, it'll be pushed back to New Year's. Yeah, but beyond that, thank you for watching us. And to those watching us in the past, present, and future, I bid you all
goodbye.
Thank you. I'm just going to let you finish it in the future because you're just going to do it anyways. All right, good night, everyone. Thanks for watching.